2023 for Disney and Bob Iger and what they established with both the Marvel Cinematic Universe and Walt Disney Animation Studios. We have Wish and The Marvels. We know that these two movies were the really two big ones that really ended 2023 on a very bad note, especially for Disney's 100th anniversary, mind you, something that I think a lot of people tend to forget, that their 100th anniversary was by far their worst year of all time. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you are new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. So, one thing about Bob Iger is that we know that he has no idea how to run Marvel Studios under Kevin Feige, really kind of giving him the proper leadership skills. We know that's exactly why there's this rift between Kevin Feige and Bob Iger. I'm not defending Kevin by any means. I still think that he's part of the problem. But we all have to address the facts here, that it's both Iger and Kevin making the wrong choices and really bringing up very bad ideas to each other about the direction of the MCU for the years to come. Now, when it comes down to the Marvels, alright, featuring actress BRIE LARSON, this is where things begin to get very ugly for Disney and for Marvel fans, because we know that, as you all know, BRIE LARSON has caused a lot of trouble before in the past for the Avengers cast and even for the overall direction of the Marvels. Now, one thing about this ongoing situation between BRIE LARSON and Disney has a lot to do with her firing from multiple projects within the Marvel Cinematic Universe and her overall reaction to everything involved in that process and that call that was made by Bob Iger. Now, with Bob Iger recently entering into endless damage control for all things Marvel, one major development has to do with actress BRIE LARSON, where she unveiled the truth about her firing from Disney projects after the Marvel's box office disaster by delivering the following. Getting the opportunity to work with Nia, as in Nia DaCosta, has been the chance of a lifetime, but many times in this industry, both the creatives and the talent can be mistreated by the studios, and it's for sure a challenging business to stay consistent with. My one critique I have of Disney is that they need to be more fair to their talent and to rely less on loud and biased opinions from the general public. I will admit I had a series of conversations and projects lined up with the Marvel brand that is looking very bleak right now, and it's something I can't really go into specifics about. However, I believe this industry, especially those at Disney, need to contain better judgment when it involves decisions such as removing talent from their films or series, especially from Marvel, which has got a huge following, and you can't mess with the core cast. It was a frustrating experience to accept reality when you first have these opportunities all lined up that eventually and quickly come to a halt when the big guys feel the fans are being too loud about something that underperformed. I feel that is the problem now with fandoms, is that they love to watch movies fail, and it's very childish. All these claims about studios pushing agendas are nonsense, and only creates a false perspective for the studios to make the wrong calls, like removing cast members or directors that did not deserve any kind of treatment like that. I just think Bob Iger needs to organize his plans for the MCU and what Kevin is trying to establish with this universe. There comes a point where you need to do what is right, but removing cast members and creatives is not the right call for the Marvel Universe. I had the liberty of talking this over with Nia, and she felt the same way about these powerful studios going out of their way to cater to the toxic male demographic. Now guys, let me just pause here quick about what BRIE is really spewing out there about her thoughts about both Marvel fans and Disney. Now obviously she's angered by both. We all know why, right? And she kind of really, let off a lot of steam a couple of months ago before the Marvels even came out, where she said, I'm not even quite sure if anybody wants me anymore. And she was kind of like coming across as like trying to start some kind of drama with that correspondent that was giving her the interview at the time. But interestingly enough, we're now in this scenario where basically Disney is slowly beginning to realize who or what is box office poison, yet at the same exact time they're hypocritical. They're still doubling down on Snow White 2025, they're still doubling down on throwing in diversity, equity, and inclusion, into Captain America 4, Blade, and Fantastic Four for all of their 2025 films. But when it comes to some cast members that they viewed as box office poison that led to the box office disasters, that's when they want to toss them eventually. And so BRIE Larson's having a very big issue with that. And look, I'm not here defending BRIE Larson by any means, but this is a prime example that they all eventually eat their own at some point in time when one betrays the other. I mean, this is just very common, especially within Disney and many other woke studios out there, like Warner Brothers, for example, very much on the same exact level, like David Zaslav, the CEO over there. But what's interesting about this, again, has a lot to do with the fact that Bob Iger and his damage control is all hypocritical in nature. It's never balanced. It's never really set in one direction. And he's all over the place. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's not thinking clearly. And obviously he is scrambling to save whatever is left of his legacy, if you even want to say that he ever had one, right? So, moving onwards, she goes on to conclude, and I think Disney should really make their choices carefully by listening to those type of fans that give off those false pieces of criticism and why films don't perform as previously expected. I look forward to working as Captain Marvel again someday, but right now everything is being changed. I mean, sure, there is something there to be done for Carol Danvers for the next 2 phases, but clearly they don't feel the need to use me as much anymore. Apart from what Larson confirmed, this all comes in the wake of Bob Iger firing Larson and removing her from 95% of her cameos and roles as Captain Marvel that was set to happen for MCU TV shows and movies. Her role in the MCU now is only limited to a mere minor appearance planned for the 2 untitled projects for the MCU. So again, the thing that we know about the Marvel Universe for Phase 6 and 7 is that yes, a lot of funds are being dialed back, and a lot of cancellations are underway. And that's exactly why you're going to see a lot of shifts when it comes to Disney Plus content, when it comes to theatrical films, and how they are going to be pretty much displayed on the big screen. I think that you're going to fall into this era under Disney, where their cheap side is going to show on the big screen, because they're already dialing back on visual effects. They're dialing back on animators and who they hire, and stardom power they're also backing off on. So you're going to have more unknowns entering into the Marvel Universe, so to speak, and I'm not quite sure if that's really going to help them at all. So I think at the end of the day, 2023 to 2025, it will be known as the flop era of Disney unless they make a rebound, which I don't see them making one anytime soon, or any kind of resolution in sight. It would take a lot of things, like, for one, getting rid of all of their agendas down to absolute zero and moving onwards with just pure entertainment. So overall, guys, I would love to hear what you all have to say about the ongoing BRIE Larson situation, everything happening with Marvel Phase 6 and Phase 7, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.